Hello there, friends. My name is Rachel GNS Middle. Gilbert and Sullivan is my middle name, and my middle name is my last name. And we are here today on behalf of Forbear Theatre to explore the magic of the Gilbert and Sullivan operas by very pedantically ranking every element of them. And we have some special guests here today. Not only do we have the Death Star lamp that's going to be in the way of every shot, but we have William Rummers. Are you struggling with the piano? It is on, look. Oh, now it's off. Oh no, now it's on.
I turned it on.
What are we doing today?
Recitatives.
Recitatives! I keep forgetting that's actually the whole name of them. I just keep calling them recits. And like, as a musician, what makes GNS's recitatives so good?
Sullivan's keen sense of humor.
Yeah! I think it's one of the places where you can really tell that Sullivan has just as much of a sense of humour as Gilbert, by the way they go. And so, as you can see behind us on the wall, we actually have a tier ranking system for this one because there are just so many. I actually got it down to, I think it was 41 or 42, I can't remember the final number. We started off at 61, but I kept eliminating those that were really short or didn't seem to make much of an impact. And there are quite a few recits, like one prominent one which we cut was, Leonard, I beg your pardon. Because it starts off as a recit but quickly becomes not a recit and it's not clear where to stop. So some of those I've just cut, but the ones I've got left I think are really good ones. So we're going to work through the canon, rank them as we go. So this tier ranking system, it starts off as S for like, what does S stand for? Like splendid.
Superb.
Superb. Then A, B, C, D, E, F. Some tier rankings don't use E, but I thought let's do it. Let's throw caution to the winds and use an E. It might help us. Do you want to say anything, Will, before we get started?
No, I just think the lack of parameters is suitable because each recit has such a unique purpose, whereas tenor solo or act finale, trio, duet have similar purposes often than what is essentially a sung dialogue scene. And why some of these are sung and not spoken is always an interesting debate.
You know what we didn't include?
Yeah. The
HMS Pinafore one that is often cut. The I'll soothe and comfort your declining days one, which I don't even know off by heart.
Yeah.
So maybe, like, I didn't include that one because it just didn't occur to me, but maybe that is one that we should have done.
No, that's okay.
Yeah.
No, that's okay. But if you want to listen to that one, you can.
Yeah.
It's on the new Souther's Wells recording.
Mm-hmm.
You can listen to that, and it's on every Spotify. Each one.
We're starting with, is this the court of the Exchequer?
Yeah, it is.
Can I be Edwin? Is this the court of the Exchequer?
It is.
Be firm, my pecker. Your evil stars in the ascendant.
Who are you?
I'm the defendant.
Monster dread our damages, and the jury dread our fury.
Hear me, if you please. These are very strange proceedings. For permit me to remark on the merits of my pleadings. You're not pleasant in the dark.
That's a very true remark on the merits of his pleadings. Were entirely in the dark.
Ha ha ho ho, ha ha ho ho. That's like a lot longer than I remember it was. That's cool.
Yeah,
I like it. And it's a lot more, because I think I sang that right looking at the music, but the notes are actually not what I thought they were. I think maybe this is one that people could have sometimes sing lazily and don't actually quite hit all the notes, but yeah, that's great. I do like it. I mean, I know there's better ones to come, but like, and be firm, my pecker. That's something that people always find funny. I mean, he's talking about his heart, isn't he?
Yes.
But it's still funny, even if it's about his heart. It's so grand. What a great entrance.
Yeah, this is Trial by Jury's perfect, isn't it?
It is so perfect. I mean, for what it is, it's absolutely perfect. And this is just like a great one for like a character entrance. It's Edwin's perfect entrance. It's so good. Is this the court of the Exchequer? Be firm, my pecker. What are those notes? Be firm, my Pekka. I think I might have said that wrong. But anyway, I know what I've seen it's wrong now. Where do you think this one goes?
Oh well, let's just start with an A.
I honestly think this is an A. I mean,
Yeah.
we can always move it if we decide that maybe they're a ton better than it, but I think that's a great one. Where is the plaintiff?
These intros in this piece are not worth learning if we're doing 42 of them.
That's pretty much it. Where is the plaintiff? Let her now be brought.
Oh, Angelina, come thou into court. Angelina.
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 Angelina. The thing is, this one is it's one of those joyously silly moments that you only really get in Trial by Jury, and strangely, like you get it in like Trial, Pinafore, Pirates. Then it's like a huge break, and you don't really get it again until like Grand Duke. But like this is so silly. I love it.
It's worth pointing out that we went for doing the double Angelina, which is not in the vocal scores that I've seen, but is in a lot of recordings. And sometimes it's the usher sings the first one and the counsel sings one, or then the defendant sings one, or it's an echo from behind the scene which is what it says in some of these scores, echo behind the scene.
Yeah.
That probably comes from the lib. And I think it's a moment that actually every production could do slightly differently, which I always like a little bit of a possibility there. The one we just did is one where either the counsel or possibly the defendant is doing the repeat, and then at the very, very bottom of the scale back down, the usher sings the one low F, which means something, but it depends on you what that's going to mean.
I mean, I think that this one is quite functional. It's not really full of character in the same way that the one before it was. So I do like this one, but it's definitely not an A for me. Is it a B or a C? What do you think?
Oh goodness, it's too small to be anything quite me but a C.
I stick it in the C.
I think
because the pure GNS-ness of the Angelina is charming enough that gets it a C, but it's not really big enough to be anything else. This is one. This could be a solo for you. That might be too low for me. Mm-hmm. The question, gentlemen, is one of liquor.
And this is just the judge's part, and then it ends.
That's it.
So they just sang about things being in abatement, and then this happens. The question, gentlemen, is one of liquor. You ask for guidance, this is my reply. He says when tipsy, he would thrash and kick up. Let's make him tipsy, gentlemen, and try.
Yeah. This is one where you always hear people going, let's make him tipsy, gentlemen. I've never heard it not done like that. Let's make him tipsy, gentlemen. Is that how it actually goes?
Let's make him tipsy, gentlemen.
Isn't that funny? The thing is, like, this is like the worst bit of Trial for me, because this is like where not only is it a bit problematic, like we're not really quite sure, like, should we laugh about the fact this guy is like beating this girl up or apparently doing it? It's not really very funny. And also, it makes you think something exciting is going to happen, like he's going to get really drunk, and then it just never happens. So this is actually not a good part of Trial for me. And I find it kind of quite musically quite underwhelming. It's like it's building up to something, but then that thing never really comes. So this isn't actually one of my favourite ones, to be honest.
I would say that you should always do the reading that the defendant is making up all of these crimes. If for any reason you ever play it opposite to that, I think that's unfair to the text. That being the case, the judge being sly in this way could be saying, well, like, if he's saying that he becomes abusive when drunk, if we just make him drunk, then we'll find out if he's telling the truth. And the defendant's like, actually, that sounds great, because he loves to have a drink.
How good would it be if, like, he got Edwin super drunk, and then Edwin was just, like, a really, like, emotional drunk, and was, like, crying, and, like, the whole story came out? That would be so good. Why doesn't Trial do that?
I don't know. And I think that the brevity of Trial really works here, because what had just happened is it goes immediately back to the music of I'm always in furnace, I'm always in liquor. So it goes back to with all respect I do object. And I do feel like, though this increasing intention doesn't have maybe the build, it doesn't have the climax that the build might imply. I think the climax to that is, with all respect we do object, we do a that like the judge, when the judge picks the show back up. That key
change when the judge picks it up is really cool, actually. The legal fury. That's exciting. I like that key change.
So I don't know. I think I'm willing to put this. Again, it's so short, and it's.
Well, if it was me, I'd give it an E.
Let's give it an E. We're in a place right now where we'll probably not despise any of these, and obviously in Trial by Jury, there's lots of recity chunks everywhere, and to excerpt them might show them as being weaker than they are, but that's the name of the game, buddy. This is called Rank the Recipe.
We're moving on to Constance, my daughter. Why this strange depression? And you'll notice that I didn't include this one with Constance's aria because it has Mrs. Partlet in as well. And I do feel like this is a separate thing. Like, it seems like quite a different character to the song. So, unlike My Kindly Friends, which I attached to the aria, this one I felt was very much a recit in its own right.
Now, coming from here to the end, I think I'll point out which ones are through composed or which ones are following or follow dialogue. Like, it's... the trial there's no dialogue, so it didn't really matter. But here, of course, we're coming out of the opening chorus of the show. So bearing in mind, I think it's worth the context of this is the first solo we hear in the entire opera. We get this. Constance, my daughter, why this strange depression? The village rings with seasonable joy, because the young and amiable Alexis, heir to the great Sir Marmaduke Poindexter, is plighted to Aline, the only daughter of Annabella, Lady Saint-Azure. You alone are sad and out of spirits. What is the reason? Speak, my daughter, speak.
Do not ask if my complexion from red to white should change in quick succession, and then from white to red I'll take no notice. If my poor limbs should tremble with emotion, pay no attention, mother, it is nothing. If long and deep drawn sighs I chance to utter, heed them not, their cause must ne'er be known. I love this recit. My favourite bit of it is actually the bit before Constance sings.
Correct.
It's so good. Like Sullivan. He was all over it.
I made a bungle there, so please forgive me for going instead of.
I kind of like yours.
Well, yes.
They're both valid.
He writes a stringendo there, and it's not often you see a stringendo in a recitative where the tempo is going to push a little bit forward, and it's a kind of you could just hear that like that moment. There's a lot of these syncopated entrances. The strings come in, and then the top violin moves, and it's also staggered and wonderful. A moment I love is when she gets B major as her starting note. And then, shortly thereafter, she gets... Then it's a quick change to... to B minor instead. I think Constance's section is great. I think Mrs. Partlet's is a problem, and perhaps...
It's a bit clunky expositionally, isn't it?
The issue I was having is I'm so used to hearing it so slow. So what if I were to do it more like... Constance, my daughter, why this strange depression? I still don't know if Sullivan is...
I usually hear it that quickly, I think.
So it can be, because the chords come in, or this melody comes in between. To me, so much of the emotional value of the recitative is in that.
Absolutely, it's actually nothing to do with Mrs. Bartlett, that bit. It's entirely... And the thing is, the Constance can use that to, like, act and do things. It's great. I love this one. I mean, is it S tier? I don't know.
No, I think this is an A.
I think this is an A.
If only because perhaps Mrs. Parlett doesn't have quite as beautiful chance as her daughter does.
Hey, so the next one. My favourite GNS song. This, as a joke, we decided in, I think it was like the 2019 festival, we did like a countdown of the best GNS numbers, and it was all like joke numbers. I think So You Are Sad was also in there. But this one, Sir Marmaduke, my dear young friend Alexis, because for a while I was kind of ironically considering this to be my favourite GNS number. And you know what? It's not my favourite GNS number, but I do genuinely really love it. So let's, can I be Alexis?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sir Marmaduke, my dear young friend Alexis, on this most happy, most auspicious plighting, permit me, as a true old friend, to tender my best, my very best congratulations. Sir, you are most obliging. Dr. Daly, my dear old tutor, and my valued pastor, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. May fortune bless you. May the middle distance of your long young life be pleasant as the foreground, the joyous foreground, and when you have reached it, may that which is now the far-off horizon, but which will then become the middle distance, in fruitful promise be exceeded only by that which will have opened, in the meantime, into a new and glorious horizon. Dear Sir, that is an excellent example of an old school of stately compliment to which I have, through life, been much addicted. Will you oblige me with a copy of it, in clerkly manuscript, that I myself may use it on appropriate occasions? Sir, you shall have a fairly written copy ere soul has sunk into his western slumbers. There's more. Come, my son. Your fiancé will be here in 5 minutes. Rouse yourself to receive her. I love that. Yeah, this is an interesting one.
To me, it's just so telling of how ridiculous class is and how ridiculous the upper classes are. Just everything is so performative. I absolutely love it.
The exchange of like, I would like to use what you just said to me at another time is great. So we just concluded this as part of the recitative, the minuet dialogue. the recitative sung part itself is interesting. Perhaps I can give a moment to say that the Dr. Daly part here has a lot of deceptive, tricky notes. He has an interesting challenge with the recitative. Sometimes you have the task of sometimes like singing notes before the chords have changed, and they can often be a little complicated. And it's worth, if you're ever doing one of these shows, to not assume, I will always say don't assume any recordings you've heard are right, but usually recitatives are the parts that can be the least right, and I'm sure Rachel and I will not be as accurate in this afternoon as we would be in a production of a show.
Because honestly, I'm seeing a lot of, I've actually never read this before, like, I think I got it right. I always feel that when people ask me for the recipe of something, like, I'm not saying it's disingenuous. I'm sure, like, they're just being polite because do they actually want the recipe? I don't know. But often when they ask me for the recipe of something, I literally just, like, cut up a ton of vegetables, stuck them in a pan with some oil. Like, that's all I did. But, like, it does seem like people in higher walks of life are always trying to kind of obtain a certain thing that will, like... What am I getting at? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Is it like a normie thing or is it an upper class thing?
Normie, upper class.
Is it just normie? I don't know, it might just be a normie thing.
It's both.
But I always find it baffling when people ask me for recipes of things, and like when people say, oh, I like that, could you like email it to me? Or could you like write that down for me? I'm like, oh, like, do you really want it? Like, I don't believe them. Like, I don't believe Sir Marmaduke actually wants that.
Oh, sure,
he's just asking.
Nah,
you know what I mean?
he listens to it and he's like, that's good.
Because one thing he can't afford with all his money is to be eloquent himself. So he needs to employ other people to be eloquent for him.
Good one. I think it's an S.
This is an S for me.
An S.
I love this one. I adore this. It's just so stupid. And the fact that the bottom is on a high note. It's irony.
Classic.
So my child, I join these congratulations. I've never in my life sung this, so let's see what happens. I think I kind of know what it is. It's one of the ones I might have to really look over your shoulder at.
It's okay.
My child, I join in these What? My child, I join in these congratulations. Heed not the tear that dims this aged eye. Old memories crowd around me. Though I sorrow, 'tis for myself, Aline, and not for thee. I actually quite like that.
This is maybe my favorite one in the show.
I really like that. It's kind of way more emotional than I thought it was.
Well, you know, I think that the one thing I've always enjoyed with this is when, and MDing this show is something I liked to try to do with it, which was to make a lot of these musical interjections, like the one we just talked about before Constance sings. Here, you know, we've just finished Never to Part, and now we have...
Oh, that's so gorgeous.
Yeah. And with string players, you can really make a lot out of that person bringing out that note. Right.
Do you remember?
Yes.
I don't know if you've ever seen the Peacock Opera Sorcerer from 2007, which was the first Sorcerer I was in. I was just in the chorus. But Ian Henderson, who was directing it, had a string quartet play this one. Actually, was it Ian? Maybe it was David Duffy. But there was a string quartet that plays certain sections. And this was one that they did, I'm sure.
Yes.
It's so gorgeous.
This section is only strings, so it'll totally work. Another moment I really like in the string writing, that dims this aged eye, then just...
Old memories
which is a really, really easy way to do like a modulation where you're just going to say, take the common tone from this chord and that chord, and just use it as a pivot.
And then the just for my the note on self is such a it's so sorrowful, because it's like she's saying that I do sorrow, but it's for myself.
There we have
But it's also kind of a relief. It's like a resolution.
It's a suspension. So we've got
okay.
It's for myself.
Because that's like Dido and Aeneas. That's like Purcell.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he knows.
That's so good. Oh my god. He's great. Is this an A or an S?
Oh, this is an S.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Surprised it beats the Marmaduke, my dear.
I think it's a little less performer MD proof than Sir Marmaduke, but
interesting.
that used to go into an aria, but the aria has been lost.
Which me and Emeretti actually read together, and it's lovely lyrics.
Mm-hmm.
It's really nice. This one is prepared for sad surprises. This is one that I wasn't quite sure if I should include, but yeah, we're doing it now.
Well, it says recitative.
It does.
So this just came out of why does the latter recoil from himself?
Prepare for sad surprises. My love Helene despises. No thought of sorrow shames her. Another lover claims her. Be his false girl, for better or for worse. But ere you leave me, may a lover's curse.
Old.
Oh my god. These are all so good.
Yeah. So Sorcerer has a lot of recitative. It's in a much older operatic style. This will be the case. These next few operas are more recit heavy in a traditional sense. And
but this is so powerful.
Mm-hmm.
It's so furious. And as I keep going on about, so few GNS characters are ever this furious. And when it does happen, it just means it's very powerful. I love it. What do you think this one goes as?
oh, it's great. I mean, it's the last Sorcerer is incredible because the last 25 minutes of it are totally through composed until the final dialogue. Mm-hmm. Up until just right now where we stopped that, Dr. Daly says hold, be just, and then the final dialogue scene happens. So it's the climax.
But the
of
dialogue
show.
before that is the one before the quintet.
Correct. No, or
depending on where you do it.
Yeah.
Is this me? This is definitely at least an A for me.
Yeah,
do you think?
I like an A.
Yeah.
Well, we love
for the next
Gilbert and
one.
Sullivan.
We do love Gilbert and Sullivan.
So we're now into a new opera.
HMS Pinafore, which we just did, Ettington. So sit tight for the video about that.
After the opening dialogue of the show, this happens.
But tell me, who's the youth whose faltering feet with difficulty bear him on his course?
That is the smartest lad in all the fleet, Rafe Rackstraw.
Rafe, that name! Remorse, remorse.
So a couple of things I want to point out here. First of all, sometimes recitatives show you that one of the hardest things to do in music is to sing a scale. As I just tried myself, saying, that is the smart, especially a minor scale. So a lot of times these recitatives are very swallowed. I don't want to point anybody out, but if you do listen to some moments and some recordings and just notice where the scales are, you might see, it's easy to go, that is the smartest lad, and kind of swallow those notes. And I think because I've only ever heard that and never sung this before, it's easy to do.
Yeah.
Additionally, I always want to point out too the fact that the recitatives often exist to get us to a key or to get us from a key, and Sullivan has to wangle his way through all sorts of changes in order to get where we're going. So if we just sort of follow it, though he has no obligation to be in the same key as Buttercup's previous song, because there's dialogue in between, he does key sequence from time to time, i.e. the opening act of Princess Ida, which is almost entirely in the same key. So we've got this C major, where we just finished, then we get this, A7, which is the 5 of D minor. So that's taken us 5 of 2 to 2. Then from D minor, we have this a surprise chord. This dominant chord here. Again, using common tones is always quite an easy way to pivot. So he's got, we hear this, rack straw, gets replaced with rack straw, like the way that like it kind of, his straw leads into that A flat, which is then, is the 5 of.
Oh, it's such a beautiful transition, that, isn't it?
And I think that's something we should continue keeping in mind with these.
Yeah.
I think this is not my favorite recitative, but a perfect setup for the madrigal.
I mean, would you say it even gets a B, or would you say it's a C?
I think we've been harder on the brief ones before, so I think it's okay to make this a B.
I would say this is a B purely for the lovely musical journey it takes us through. But I mean, essentially, it's relatively weak when it comes to character. We do understand there's something funny. This is the moment where we learn there is something up about Buttercup. That rhymed. Sir, you are sad.
No, for this one, Sullivan doesn't give you a starting chord. You just have to know it from the previous number, which is not so tricky, but he's got some trickier ones coming up. We'll look at one in Pirates that's tricky. But we've got this. If we finished, bum.
Sir, you are sad. The silent eloquence of yonder tear that trembles on your eyelash proclaims a sorrow far more deep than common. Confide in me, fear not, I am a mother.
Yes, little Buttercup, I'm sad and sorry. My daughter Josephine, the fairest flower that ever blossomed on ancestral timber, is sought in marriage by Sir Joseph Porter, our Admiralty's first lord. But for some reason, she does not seem to tackle kindly to it.
Ah, poor Sir Joseph. Ah, I know too well the anguish of a heart that loves but vainly. But see, here comes your most attractive daughter. I go, farewell.
A plump and pleasing person.
I love the musical bit on timber. Can you explain why that's so good?
Yep. So we are here. Then the chord.
Oh, I just love that.
It's the bass note, the pedal tone of F is hanging out of. We don't have to change the F. Then you get a G major chord, but even that has a suspension, which actually creates this very interesting sound.
What is that chord?
Well, this here, I mean, it's a G sus over F.
I love that.
Pedal, it's a G suspension.
It's so crunchy.
But then, because in the key it would be, it even gives you major,
It's
which
so
then
surprising.
gives you a C7. The fact that it's all over F draws that in. He's got a lot of good moments. He's got a deceptive cadence as well.
Yeah.
From this E7 to F major, where you should have gone. Up a key.
So why is it that, because I feel like you don't like this one.
I didn't.
Yeah, but now you do. So what changed your mind?
Oh, I got to do it.
Yeah,
I got to do it.
There we go.
Yeah, this you know, it's a tough one. I did find that one of the things that was helpful for me was noticing anytime he's given you a longer note. A lot of people will use the recitatives and think that the rhythms don't matter either. So I was thinking, okay, so it's yes, little Buttercup. It's not little Buttercup. He's got longer notes written for Buttercup than little. Then, my daughter Josephine, the fairest flower, longer note, that ever blossomed on ancestral timber. Those are long, but they go with the orchestra. Is sought in marriage by Sir Joseph Porter, our Admiralty's first lord. He's given you very deliberate long note on first. But for some reason, she does not seem to tackle. So you don't have to treat it all like this. But you almost want to say, like, well, if there's ever a note that's suddenly longer than the notes before or after, give that some attention and see if you can, as an actor, make something out of it. And I found that.
I mean, I still don't find this one particularly engaging or imaginative, but it has got bits in that maybe I hadn't appreciated many years ago. But I mean, for me, it's like it's like a solid C.
Yeah,
I don't think it's worse than that.
I think that's fine. Every recit eventually becomes a recit you care for as time goes on.
Forbear, nor carry out the scheme you've planned.
So we have a few from Act 1 finales.
We generally didn't include them because they're so short, but I thought this one was long enough that it deserved to be in.
Forbear, nor carry out the scheme you've planned. She's a lady, you a foremost hand. Remember, she's your gallant captain's daughter, and you're the meanest slave that crawls the water.
Yeah. I mean, it gets across what they want to get across, but I mean, after we've discussed the ones before in such detail, this doesn't really seem to contain much of the magic that those contain. What do you think?
It's the 11th hour moment of the act, and did enjoy watching Tony play it last weekend and seeing the way in which he was so empathetic in this moment, singing this solo. I did not want the people to yell back Vermin back at him.
Yeah.
But yeah, these are transitional recits. Perhaps that's why we opted not to include too many of them. But this one had a post-it, so we decided to do it anyway.
Where do you think it goes?
Oh goodness!
Is it worse? I think it probably is worse than the question, gentlemen.
No.
Is it?
Nah.
Would you say it's a D?
This is a D.
Okay.
Yeah.
This one is another one that I think probably might do well, but let's see. Stop, ladies, pray.
So the ladies have just said yes, yes.
So can I be Frederick? Because this is like my favourite thing.
Yeah.
So you can be the chorus.
Can you be everybody?
I'll just be everybody.
Yeah.
Stop, ladies, pray. Amen! I had intended not to intrude myself upon your notice in this effective but alarming costume. But under these peculiar circumstances, it is my bounden duty to inform you that your proceedings will not be unwitnessed. But who are you, so speak? I am a pirate. A pirate! Hola! Pirate! Hola! I jumped too often. Ladies, do not shun me. This evening I renounce my vile profession, and to that end, O pure and peerless maidens, O blushing buds of ever-blooming beauty, I sore at heart, implore your kind assistance. How pitiful his tale, how rare his beauty, how pitiful his tale, how rare his beauty. So I was a bit flat all of those lyrics.
That's okay.
Didn't go, my throat didn't do what I expected it to do.
That's okay.
It's more hard than you think it is, switching between voices. Anyway, I love that. Is that all recit? A lot of it's in rhythm, so I wasn't sure.
A lot of it's in rhythm,
Yeah.
ideally, and I think that were I your music director and were you my Frederick, I probably would have wanted to work that andante section a little more in tempo, so that the orchestra is able to stay together. Particularly, there are things about this experience that you and I know is like, we all assume we know this, And
I really didn't. Looking at the rhythms there, I did not know that.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah.
There's a lot. I've always had a lot of fun conducting this bit, but it's always trepidatious. I've MD'd Pirates more than anything else, and it's the show that I have the hardest time getting people to pay attention when they're on stage.
Because people think they know it.
They think they know it. And then also I added in New York, and then we added to the production we did the business with the shoes and the big paws.
Which is it's in the stage directions, I think, with the shoes.
Yes, but it's in the stage directions. But we did stop, ladies pray, amen, and then they all threw their shoes. Clunk, 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 clunk. I had that the response chord after a man, if it came in, if like the direction was to have a physical action, that chord wouldn't have been that chord for that action. This chord was for the embarrassment of the awkward moment. And coordinating that was tough.
Yeah.
I think that took some time, but once we committed to. Also, you often get stop, ladies pray. Man. So, it's.
But you know what? I do get such joy from saying Frederick's text. It's so much fun.
He's got great text.
I really, really like this as Frederick. And it's just such... Because it's such a stupid situation. It's like these ladies are showing their ankles. And it's just, he's so noble. And it's so sweet. But everyone takes it really seriously, and everyone like fully commits to how awful it would be if he did see their ankles, etc. So I just love this moment in Pirates. This is like genuinely one of my favourite moments in the show. But I can see how there are issues with it.
It can often be strident and unlikable. So as long as Sullivan is trusted on this, like even if like it should be filled with wonder, and sometimes it's a little less so. So you've written entranced in your score here.
Entranced.
So, yeah.
How rare his beauty.
So this feels like a good candidate for the top.
Do you think this is an S tier?
I mean, it's top ladies pray.
Yes. Now this is one I've played Mabel like 6 or 7 times, so this is what I'm really used to. So this should be perfect. Let's see.
So they just did.
Hold, monsters! Your pirate caravanserai proceed against our will to wed us all. Just bear in mind that we are wards in chancery, and father is a major general.
We'd better pause, or danger may befall. Their father is a major general.
Yes, he is a major general.
Yes, I am a major general. For he is a major general.
He is hurrah for the major general.
And it is a glorious thing to be a major general.
It is hurrah for the major general, hurrah for the major general. It's fun. I love that. It's a really fun note for Mabel. It is quite low. It's quite hard to sing when you've been like up in the attic and then you're suddenly having to sing. Like, I remember when I sang this with Savoynet, I properly chested that. I went like, hold, monsters! And it sounded proper MT. So it's not the easiest thing to sing beautifully, but I like it.
I like it too. It's incredible how easy it is to get from this key to that key in the span of 2 pages, and he does a very good job of it. This is a good moment because ultimately, though the song that follows this doesn't have to follow the plot too much, this is all plot, and the way everybody's reacting to this person coming on stage, it does affect the way the show is about to turn out. So.
It means, I think it definitely means that the Major General earns the song. Because can you imagine if he just come out and started singing it? The fact that he gets such a powerful introduction is great for the song. But the rest of it itself, I don't think it's higher than a B for me. What do you think? Maybe even a C, I don't know. What would you have given it?
A B. It's yeah. If it's on tier with, but tell me who's these.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. The next one is then Frederick. Let your escort lionhearted.
Then Frederick, let your escort lionhearted be summoned to receive a general's blessing ere they depart upon their dread adventure.
Dear sir, they come.
Now, see, that's what I wanted you not to do.
Dear sir, they come.
But nope.
Dear sir, they come.
Nope.
Bum bum. Dear sir, they come. What is it? Is it that quick? Dear sir, they come. Is it really that quick? Oh my god, that has blown my mind. Dear sir, they come. I've never heard that ever.
You heard it in our production.
Did I?
Yeah.
Okay, I think I've blanked most of that show.
That's fine. So, ta-dam, pa-dam. I mean, that rhythm is on purpose. Sometimes you could be a little loose, but I feel like if it's the pickup to the orchestra coming in and he's setting up that snare drum coming in.
Yes, sir, they come. Yeah. Oh, okay.
It's like use the text, use what it says.
It.
I like Then Frederick, but obviously it's just a warm up for
exactly. I mean, it's really forgettable, and it's not. When I'm thinking about this whole list, it's not an F. It doesn't fail. But to me, it's like an E in the sense that there's nothing really in its substance. But, it sets it up, whatever. Or do you think, would you be a bit more generous than me?
No, I think that's fine. They nailed the assignment, and, I don't know if, a longer, better thing would have suited. So, we're not saying that these are unsuited to their moments.
Yeah, it's just that we're really, what we're trying to find here is recits which, in themselves are insanely good.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Which?
Now for the Pirate's Lair.
This is definitely closer.
There we go.
So just after right after the number that followed what you just heard, we had...
Now for the Pirate's Lair. Oh, joy unbounded. Oh, sweet relief. Oh, rapture unexampled. At last I may atone for some slight measure for the repeated acts of theft and pillage, which at a sense of duty's stern dictation I, circumstance's victim, have been guilty.
Young Frederick,
Who calls,
your late commander,
and I, your little Ruth, how mad intruders, how dare ye face me? Know ye not, O rash ones, that I have doomed you to extermination?
have mercy on us. Hear us say sorter.
I do not think I ought to listen to you, yet mercy will alloy us stern resentment, and so I will be merciful. Say on. What was I doing wrong there?
First you said, but mercy, and you made it a quaver.
Oh, sorry.
And then you didn't say shit. I have privilege because I've MD'd, and when I MD, I feel like I have to sing everybody's parts. So
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah, but I got such a kick out of that. I love that. That's so great. No, you're not, oh rash ones. I really want to play these tenor roles. How can I want to do it. I love these parts.
Well, there are no tenors anymore, so then you have plenty of room.
Yeah, hire me. No, ye not, oh rash ones, but I have doomed you to extermination. Oh.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it? This
It's like, and the comedy, you know how the classic thing is to put the gun and sword to the head.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I do not think I ought to listen to you, yet mercy, and having those guns there at that moment. Yet mercy should alloy our stern resentment. That's what it is, yeah.
and the transition from this to yeah, That's so good.
This is, like, to me, this is, like, beyond S tier. I love this.
S tier, good.
This is, I absolutely adore this. I think I might even like this one. I didn't really expect to like this one so much. I think I forgot how good it was. But I'm thinking it might even better than Sir Marmaduke.
Yeah, alright, I'm down with that. I think this could be our top one so far.
Yeah, I really like that one.
We just finished the song that's called
The
Duet.
No, I'll be brave. Oh, family descent, how great thy charm! Thy sway, how excellent! Come one and all, undaunted men in blue! A crisis now, affairs are coming to. That's one of it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, how good! I love that. But I mean, I don't think it's going to do well on this list, but I like it anyway.
I'll give you a little idea.
Yeah.
Give a little more dot here as well. I swear.
Yeah.
Because
Someone's told me that before, actually. Yeah.
You're bringing in the military.
I sway, how excellent! Come one and all.
Yeah.
Come one and all, undaunted men in blue. Yeah, I keep dotting where there's no dots and not dotting where there are dots.
Yeah, I don't want things to sound programmed and flat, but eventually it's good to get to the natural aim in the end. It's good to see what's
It's
on
good
page.
to know. The thing is, I know people always say that there's this tired trope that you have to learn the rules before you can break them. But I do think in GNS, that is why I'm always so fastidious about people singing the exact words and rhythms, even though I myself sometimes get them wrong. But I completely agree that is the right thing to do, because then once you know what it is, you understand what Sullivan was doing, and then if you want to give it a little bit of freedom when it's appropriate, you then understand what that freedom is. You're not just listening to a recording, you know. Mm-hmm. But this one, it is great. I don't really think there's too much substance to it. You know, after we've just had that whole massive emotional moment, this is merely a bridge to the comedy section, which I think it does that pretty well, but to me it doesn't really get more than like a C, because it just doesn't really have that much of a presence. But I don't know what you think. Maybe a B.
I would say D. So
you say D, yeah.
Call it a C. So here's the really great key change that everybody loves. Sometimes, I mean, the score even writes to put the chord in at the front with this little curvy line.
Yeah.
But I think that makes it weaker. So let's try with that.
Hush, hush, not a word. I see a light inside. The Major General comes, so quickly hide.
Yes, yes, the Major General comes. Yes, yes, the Major General comes. Yes, yes, the Major General comes. Tormented with the anguish dread of falsehood unatoned, I lay upon my sleepless bed and tossed and turned and groaned. The man who finds his conscience ache no peace at all enjoys. And as I lay in bed awake, I thought I heard a noise. He thought he heard a noise.
Ha ha!
No, all is still in dale on hill. My mind is set at ease. So still the scene, it must have been the sighing of the breeze.
It's cute. It's cute, but it's just because it contains so many elements, and it's definitely very much a transition piece. For me, it doesn't really have like a heart in itself. But it's got some nice moments. He thought I heard a noise. I didn't sing the notes there, but like, haha, that's usually quite a funny thing. So it's got good moments in there, but for me, this is like a solid middle of the pack. This is maybe, is it even a C? Maybe, is it a C? What do you think about it?
I think
really
it's
like
better
it?
than those two. So
Oh, do you think?
I think it's better than Sir You Are Sad and Where.
Oh, okay. Are you thinking this might be a B?
I think it's a B.
Okay.
Because I like that it involves the chorus, and
Yeah.
I also know that I've been after a golden goose, which is the fact that Rex Smith gets a laugh with "Hush Hush, Not a Word." truth be told, the Broadway production goes whole ham on the fortissimo reprises, key changes of Cat-like Tread. But when they perform it in Central Park, and here, and he says, hush, hush, not a word, it gets a laugh, because people automatically understand the incongruity of that.
It's fun.
So I think that it has some scope for everybody.
You really have convinced me, because it's the way that people keep taking over from other people. Yes, yes, the Major General comes. Yes, yes, the Major, and that's like a callback to earlier on. So that's also pretty cool. Yeah, I agree. Let's give it a B. I like that. So that is it from Pirates. And you know how many there are in Patience? One. It's literally just this one. There were no other recits in Patience. There was like something heartbroken about Patience of Barbarity was like maybe a tiny one, but it was really not long at all. But this is not the only one in it, really. So here we go.
Because there's so many inner voices, so I have to just leave them all out.
Still brooding on the mad infatuation, I thank thee, love, thou comest not to me. Far happier I, free from thy ministration, than dukes or duchesses who love can be. 'Tis Patience, happy girl, loved by a poet. Your pardon, ladies, I intrude upon you. Nay, pretty child, come hither. Is it true that you have never loved? Most true indeed. Most marvelous
And most deplorable.
Yeah. This one is like solidly up there for me. I don't think it's maybe quite an S tier, but this is probably an A for me. I just think that it manages to do so much work in so little time, and it makes Patience's aria pop so much more. It's a great transition into that musically. It's also just so bright after the really down dialogue that the ladies have had. It's just a complete breath of fresh air. But the way it keeps stopping, it keeps kind of grinding to a halt, but in a good way, because it's like there's these two. It's like Patience's personality is totally at odds with the ladies, and they keep trying to pull each other into their world, but Patience just refuses to be pulled into that world. I love it.
I think that's a wonderful explanation of what's going on. And because there's no recits otherwise in this show, you see that the only one recit he gets doesn't sound like something that would have been in the previous 3 operas. He's starting to write recits that are a little less old-fashioned grand opera and a little more his own adventurous style. And I think we'll see more of that as we go, where some of the recitatives are a little more unusual. And
It also seems that they're starting to kind of make fun of themselves a bit, because this one seems like a little bit more self-aware, as like, this is funny that this is a recit. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, the previous 3 operas, the previous 4 operas are all based on operatic parody. And by this point, they're over it.
Yeah. This is just like their own thing now. I love it. I do love it. But is it S tier?
Maybe it's an A.
I think it's an A. I think it's an A. But this one is fabulous, and I do love it. So well done, Patience, for your only one. We're now moving on to Iolanthe, my well-loved lord and guardian dear.
So to follow the previous point up, the recit we're about to listen to couldn't have ever happened in the operas that preceded it.
And I am here.
Oh, rapture, how beautiful, how gentle, how dutiful.
That's kind of barbershoppy at the end there. Yeah, because you put harmony in, didn't you? When we did it.
Yeah. Something like that. Yeah, we did. Oh, gentle.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it was that.
It I love that. This has got a really modern feel to it. But I mean, it's just the character saying I'm here. So I mean, how good can it be?
Well,
it's fun.
It's got a change from her 6/8 to the Pierce 2/4, which is really quite nice. So we have you summoned me and I think sometimes people sing this. You summoned me and I'm supposed to. You summoned me and I mean, if we actually do it in tempo, it'd be.
You summoned me and I am here.
Oh, rapture, how beautiful. Oh, so it's quite a fun little
That's
switch.
so cool. Yeah.
So I think it's a lovely little recitative. It serves its function and acts as such a colorful opening to this.
I would say that this is probably my least favourite section in IOLANTHE.
The Act 1 mid finale?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But I mean, where do you think? Do you think it's a B or a C?
Oh, C.
Yeah.
So we just discovered Nay Tempt Me Not, and I think that sometimes what happens with our boy is even if Gilbert wrote, Nay tempt me not, to wealth I'll not be bound, in lowly caught, alone is virtue found. And Sullivan went, I could set this to something that's more metrical. And we'll see sometimes recitative doesn't mean ametrical, it might just mean not a tune, not a whole tune.
Yeah.
So for this one we've got.
Nay tempt me not, to wealth I'll not be bound, in lowly court alone is virtue found.
No, indeed high rank will never hurt you. The peerage is not destitute of virtue. It's pretty much structurally the same as the previous one. Phyllis sings something and then the peers respond with something. And as it's transitioning us from the number we just finished, which had... It's kind of a really fun transition. Then, leading us right into... So I think Sullivan is at his best when he's doing these transitions for their own sake. Is it the high work of extreme genius? I don't know.
I mean, this one, as I say, this has always been my least favourite section of it. I've played Phyllis 3 times, and I've never particularly liked these recits. I don't know. There was just nothing really magical about them for me. But I mean, I can see that it's fine. But I mean, I probably personally wouldn't give it.
E.
Maybe it's an E. Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay.
It's so kind of throwaway. So this one is my lord, so it may not be. My lords, it may not be. With grief my heart is riven. You waste your time on me. For my heart is given.
Given.
Yes, given.
And 'twas dead to brave our high displeasure, and thus defy our definite command.
'Tis I, young Strephon, mine is priceless treasure. Against the world,
What?
I claim my darlings.
I was starting to think about what happened last
Oh
time.
yeah.
Can you drop a clip of that in?
Yeah, I'll put that clip in.
Okay.
This is what happened when we tried to do.
And was dared to brave our high displeasure, and thus defy our definite command. 'Tis I, young Strephon, my priceless treasure.
I accidentally brought in this,
What is this treasure?
and then David caught up.
It was great.
We can have it. Okay, so... And was dead to brave our high displeasure, and thus defy our definite command.
'Tis I, young Strephon, mine is priceless treasure. Against the world, I claim my darling's hand. This is cool. I think this one is definitely better than the two before it.
Yes.
So this is like at least a B for me. I don't know if there's any more than that, but I like the amount of scope there is for comedy in it, and just how many characters are in. It's like, oh, this guy is here. What? She says her heart's given. Her. This is like, there's so many twists and turns, and I think that it's deliberately kind of very dramatic, and that makes me happy. So I think this is at least a B for me.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, it's different than the previous two because Lord Chancellor, having played this part, hasn't spoken up since the dialogue. Hasn't said anything in a minute. So really, at this point, her heart being given is the thing he's worried about because it maybe complicates matters. But and then Streffin's arrival means that this becomes quite a climactic moment.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely my favourite moment in this whole suite. But I think I really like a shepherd I, a shepherd he. But this is great. So a B?
Yes.
Yeah, I do like this one. Ooh, I think I'm going to need my my Bradley for this. Every bill and every measure that may gratify his pleasure, though your fury it arouses, shall be passed by both your houses. You shall sit, if he sees reason, through the grouse and salmon season.
No.
He shall end the cherished rites you enjoy on Friday nights.
No.
He shall prick that annual blister, marriage with deceased wife's sister.
Mercy.
Title shall ennoble then all the common councilmen.
Spare us.
Peers shall teem in Christendom, and a duke's exalted station be attainable by competitive examination.
That's good.
I love that. I mean, this one is iconic for a reason. The thing is, I don't think it's particularly musically imaginative, but it very much serves the purpose of the narrative. This is a bit of a confusing section in IOLANTHE for me. I don't quite get how it is that Strephon is, like, in charge. Because I guess he's, like, breaking the tie or something? I don't know. So basically he's deciding. I don't know. But I think, even though I don't quite understand the ins and outs of it, for me, I don't think I could give it more than an A, but it really is iconic and I do love it.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
I think that it has to serve the function of something like Forbear and will carry out the scheme you planned, but it's doing so much more effectively.
Exactly. So I do think this is an A for me, but it hasn't quite made it to S for me just because and also the language is a bit dated, like the deceased wife's sister thing isn't really a thing anymore, so I do think work has to be done to update it, so in itself I don't know if it's amazing. But yeah, certainly an A, which is a good mark. It may not be, for so the fates decide.
It may not be, for so the fates decide. Learn thou that Phyllis is my promised bride.
My bride! No!
It shall be so. Those who would separate us woe betide.
My doom thy lips have spoken, I plead in vain. A vow already broken, I break again. For him, for her, for me, I yield my life. Behold, it may not be. I am thy wife.
IOLANTHE, thou livest.
I live, now let me bows are broken, now thyself thy doom hast spoken. With a holla, with a loo, with a holla, with a loo. Bow thy head to destiny, death thy doom, and thou shalt die. Will a holla, will a loo, will a holla, will a loo. Hard.
I mean, if all of that counts as a recit, that's the best one I ever did.
Yeah.
That's my favorite moment, maybe in the whole canon,
It-
bar none.
I mean, that was all in the section that said recit, and they keep going back into recit. So I don't see why that... Because actually, yeah, I was surprised to see that it kept going back in. So, I mean, honestly, that just goes straight here. Like, that is... This is the heart of the canon. It is one... It's that, Jack Point, Mad Margaret's aria... Those are like the three... and maybe like the Dyer's cast as well. But like, those are like the three moments that are like... 4 moments that are like...
And this is an occasion where it's the very last thing that happens before the show finally is resolved. And it brings you to a breaking point. And Sullivan's never done better by Gilbert's words.
I think that when it comes to the best kind of pre-Act 2 finale, Iolanthe is probably going to win, like, absolutely hands down for that. I mean, it already won the dialogue. Like, I think that just this into that dialogue, then the Act 2 finale, you really do leave Iolanthe feeling just so pumped up and joyful because of the way Sullivan manages to, like, bring you to this very brink of emotion for this bit, and then there's just the relief afterwards. This is lovely. This is really, really lovely, and I don't think anything's going to beat this, but we'll see.
Yeah, if this is a recit, this is the recit of all time. And it follows that wonderful aria, and this guy. Okay, we on to
Hey, I love it.
Princess Angus.
Princess Angus. Cyril, Florian, our course is plain. Tomorrow morn, fair Ida will engage, but we will use no force her love to gain. Nature has armed us for the war we wage. Oh. Okay, I mean, the thing is, you really do see a kind of step up here from, like, musically. I feel there's a big step up from Iolanthe to Princess Ida. And there's something that's, like, so epic about this musically for me. It's just so utterly beautiful in a way that I don't think any of the others have really been. Maybe Sorcerer? But, like, this is like a clear, oh, this music is like, this is a step up. What do you agree?
He's operating in his own idiom. He's not inhabiting borrowed space.
Yeah. Is that what it is? It's like he is truly like...
Princess Ida is a show that every piece of music in it, I think, Patience is where it really begins.
Okay.
For me, that like, every number feels like it could only be in this opera.
Mm-hmm.
And Princess Ida...
Joanna always says like world painting.
Mm-hmm. So this is, I mean...
gorgeous. This is so good.
In what world does this not exist in Princess Ida?
But essentially, it's lovely poetry and it's lovely music, but there's something about it that I can't quite give it S tier, because it's not like, I don't know, I think it's lacking something, but I can't quite put my finger on it. It's just, it's one person singing. There's not really much narratively going on. It's just they're making a decision. It's not that. Maybe it's even a B. I don't know.
Well, I think given its brevity, considering what we have in A,
Should we say B?
B is fine,
Yeah, but it is beautiful. It is absolutely lovely, I think, this one.
The
This
font.
is one that I almost didn't include because it's quite short, but I just have to because it's one of my favourite moments in the canons, but we'll see. Must we till then in prison cell be thrust?
You must!
This seems unnecessarily severe.
Hear, hear!
Okay, so like, it's not that great musically, and nothing really happens, but I just had to include it because it's so funny, but I don't think it's going to rank very high. But it's just, I love it. I just wanted to include it. What do you think about it?
I mean, yeah, the deadpan. You must! This seems unnecessarily severe! That's all we like.
I just absolutely love that. So it probably only gets like a C. What do you think? But like,
C's fine. I think, I don't entirely know what this was.
yeah, it's a bit weird.
I think what it is in true Dolly Card fashion, Grossmith, Temple, and the two guys would have left for a dainty triolet.
Yeah.
They would have been taken off stage for no reason other than the fact that they're principals and
That
not...
always happens, doesn't it? I hate it when that happens nowadays. It's my worst thing, I think I talked about this with Leon, is when Gianetta and Tessa aren't on with the opening chorus and they just sneak on.
Yeah.
I hate that.
Yeah, they're just not contracted to be part of the chorus.
Ugh.
So they leave and they might come back on for this, then. And we're still in E. Like, we didn't...
Yeah.
What if it didn't have that? Well, I mean, let me...
Why not?
Yeah, well, let me... Yeah, like, it could very easily have that without the trumpet thing, so...
Yeah, I don't get why that's there at all.
Oh, you can do it unless you use it for something, but...
Yeah.
Maybe that's walking guys downstage.
Yeah. That's it for Ida. It was just those two.
Amazing.
Apparently. So, we are on to the Mikado. And we begin with this lovely number. Gentlemen, I pray you tell me where a gentle maiden dwelleth named Nium, the ward of Cloco. In pity speak, oh speak I pray you.
Why, who are you who ask this question?
Come gather round me, and I'll tell you.
Oh, my head's full of lunch. I'm sorry.
That was great. This is so cute. I love this tenor. He's awesome, and it's so cute. And actually, I've only recently realised how funny it is that like no one answers him for ages, and why that might be. Where a gentleman dwelleth named Yayum, the ward of Cloco. In pity speak, I speak. It's like, are they scared? Are they just ambivalent? Are they kind of too haughty to answer him? It's interesting. Like you can choose yourself. It's cool. It gives the chorus a character, which I like. What do you think about it?
Oh, it's great. I mean, the opening of this show is wonderful.
It's dynamite.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it's quite S tier because there's like no emotion in it really, apart from like maybe a bit of frustration. But I think it's a solid A for me.
Yes, we're getting a gentle read on who these characters are going to be.
Exactly. I think it's really, really sweet. But the next one's rather similar, isn't it? So should we just move on to the next one? And I have journeyed for a month or nearly to learn that Nium, whom I love so dearly, this day to Cloco is to be united.
The fact appears to be as you've recited. But here he comes, equipped as suits his station. He'll give you any further information.
Right. The thing is, I actually think this one may not be quite as good as the one before it. I think it's a bit more fragmented, and in a way that is kind of funny, but not so funny as the patience brooding on a mad infatuation is. Like, it feels a bit stoppy-starty, and not for as good a reason. But it is funny.
Well, it's got a meta joke in it.
Yes.
It's the one recitative that refers to the fact that it's a recitative.
Yes! That is funny,
It's
yeah.
kind of cute. I think that Sullivan's orchestration here, this distant cornet,
Oh,
and then
that's nice.
very pizzicato
Yeah.
strings. I think that actually, in setting up the patter guy, I think this is a wonderful setup at the moment. I think that this is... and yeah, this I remember being enamored with this when I was 18.
Enamored enough to give it an A.
No.
A B.
Yeah.
I feel like this is a B.
Yeah.
But it's good. I do love this. The next one is also another one that, even though it's in an Act 1 finale, it still made it in. And I think I'd like to have a crack at singing this. I don't think it's too low for me.
Okay.
I'll have a crack. As in a month you've got to die, as Clocko tells us true. 'Twere empty compliment to cry long life to Evelroon. But as 1 month you have... Oh my god, what is it? As 1 month you have... As 1 month you have... That is hard. But as 1 month you have to live as fellow citizen. This toast with 3 times 3 will give long life. Long life to you. Long life to you. Long life to you. Till then. I just want to have a go at it. It's a bit too low for me though. But I think that is so perfect. I love that so much. And it's so funny. I think it's really, really, really cute. And I love this character. He's one of my favourites, and this is awesome. What do you think about it?
Oh yeah, it's such an excellent moment.
I don't think it's quite S tier because, again, it's this one character singing. It's not like it's meant to be funny and it's not really at all emotional. But it is. But I don't know. The stakes in it are quite high. I mean, would you say it's close to S tier, or would you just put it in the A's?
Oh, A.
Yeah. I think so too. I love these Mikado recits. They're all so good. They're so aware of themselves, which I think is really, really funny. There's only one in Ruddigore, and even this is like super short. And well, like maybe you can help me decide like where it officially ends. You can sing this one because this will be very low for me.
Okay.
Roderick is a bass. Beware, beware, beware.
Beware, beware, beware. Confusion, what thou, that thus with icy glare and stern relentless brow appearest, who knows how? I am the spectre of the late Roderick Megatron, who comes to warn me that thy fate thou canst not now avoid. Alas, poor ghost, the pity you express for nothing thus. Respect is not a jollier crew than you perhaps suppose.
Respect is not a jollier crew than you perhaps suppose. cool, isn't it? This is one of the ones that is truly chilling. And I think the music does a really good job of that. I mean, I don't think it's as, like, sophisticated, kind of orchestration-wise, or, like, just music-wise in general. But I do love it. I think it's very effective. What do you think about it?
I give it a certain point for being unlike anything else that's in any of the rest of
Yeah.
the canon. That, you know, a diminished chord is spooky enough, fine. But then...
Yeah.
Go on.
It's like, it's curious.
And then
It's
then
so
we have
creepy.
bass pedal. So this chord. That you never quite know where it's headed, but then we have that chord again. Then never quite know where it's going. Then and then
Oh, that is actually okay. I take it back about not being musically sophisticated. It really is, isn't it?
well, it's just lump. I mean, diminished chords are wonderful because you can just go up to the next one.
It's so fabulous.
Always. And should we look at the cut?
Oh, the dead and cursed,
Because
or the
otherwise,
cursed, yes.
we'll never talk about it.
Oh
So
my
it just
god,
went-
yeah.
By the curse upon our race,
Dead and cursed, all accursed.
each inheriting this place.
Sorrow shake it, devil take it.
Us perforce, oyez,
Yes, obeying, be obeying.
to a deadly crime each day.
Fire and thunder, be knocked under. Some atrocious crime committed. To the world we quitted.
Beware! Yeah, we sang
I
that.
love that
8
so
years
much.
ago.
That should be in every Ruddigore. I am obsessed with those harmonies that the ghosts sing. It's so haunting. Like, especially when the one that's a bit higher, the one where it opens out a bit more. Sorrow shake it.
Yes, the chorus
Yeah.
sings.
Oh,
Good, right?
I love it. It's a little bit like, I know this sounds like I'm putting it down, but it sounds like it's in a video game. But I love video game music. There's something like RPG-ish about it.
This is incredible here. He's got this natural C in the bass. Over that great. And then you know where you were. So I think it is good. I'm glad we did
I
it
agree.
8 years ago.
I agree to that. I think that is great.
So if
Huh? It's fine.
do we include that in our ranking?
Yeah, let's include that in the beware. So actually, this is by the curse upon our race, etc. Does it get an A?
Yeah.
I think it gets an A. There's probably going to be some eventually that don't get as high a mark. Hark, what was that, sir? Then this one, recently, the number in general won the showstoppers category. But is this a good part of it? We'll see.
It's effective, yeah.
Yeah.
Hark! What was that, sir?
Why, an arquebus fired from the wharf, unless I much mistake.
Strange, and at such an hour. What can it mean?
That's it, isn't it? Really?
That's it.
I think that's it, isn't it?
Yeah, unless you wanted to count who fired that shot. But if
Oh, no, we should include that, yeah. So, yeah, if you just start from the...
so, the chorus sings.
Yeah, yeah. What could that have been? A short salute at night, enough to cause a fright. What can the mortals be? A foeman in the land is London.
Our foeman in the land is London to be wrecked. What are we to expect? What danger is at hand?
heard that Charles at once the truth declared.
My lord, 'twas I to rashly judge Forbear.
My lord, 'twas he to rashly judge Forbear.
This is one of the few moments in Yeomen that's actually funny. I don't know, what is funny about Strange and at such an hour? And it's just funny seeing Jack Point and Wilfred come on again because they've very much been established as like, this is the comic double act for this act. And it's really fun seeing them come on. So I do love this recit. I don't think it's like as good as a number proper. It's a good intro, but for me, it's probably a B. I don't know. I don't really think it's kind of much better. What do you think about it?
I think there's a lot of really interesting things going on.
Yeah, absolutely.
The tower theme happens in C, which just has a novelty, and it's accelerated.
That is pretty cool.
I don't know if it's that this opening comes off as funny to me. I think that for it to be genuine and moody and like, wow, well, it can be eggy because the gunshot effect is rarely effective. But
or it's like too effective. It always makes me like jump wherever I am. I hate it.
I like that we've got this triplet figure. Which isn't as it appears in your vocal score. It's not. It's like that. And then you have the basses and tenors come in, singing this little scale, but it's 2 against 3, which is kind of a cool effect. Rachel, you sang very good. What can the porters mean? Sometimes that's a little fudgy. Then we've got this. Everybody, the stakes are high for everybody. They're all so scared as to is one shot an indication that London is to be wrecked?
Yeah.
Maybe that's
I think maybe that's the reason I find this bit just like a little bit flabby because I don't quite buy the stakes of it.
Sure.
And also I just think there's too much rhythm in it for it to be like a truly amazing recit because the thing is, it may not be for So the Fates Decide. Yeah, there was quite a bit in rhythm, but it always had that recit feel all the way through, whereas this is very much like in the middle of this is just like a chorus bit that's totally in time. So, I don't know, this bit doesn't like totally blow me away. I'd say I'd probably only give it like a B, but I love the musical bits you talked about.
No,
would you give it a B?
Oh, yeah, probably. I think the entrance of Wilfred and Point is probably the best part, and the way that comes after the lieutenant's moment.
But I don't like the fact they're talking about rashly judging Forbear, because you must never rashly judge Forbear.
The river must be dragged, no time be lost. The body must be found at any cost. To this attend without undue delay. So set to work with what dispatch we may.
Yes, we set to work with what dispatch we may. Yeah. Like, I know it's really short, but I love how he changes the energy with his power. And just because of that, I felt it was worth including.
Brings the stakes back.
Yeah. So I think that even though this is really short, I think, again, it's like one that gets a C to me, because it's pretty underwhelming and there's not much of it, but I love that moment of him changing it.
Yes, we come in on a third inversion dominant chord.
Yeah.
So we're in this key, and then you suddenly introduce, as the bass note is this note. You really feel like that chord's gotta go somewhere. And it's a really simple way to just get from, that. And that chord always resolves usually to a first inversion of like the whatever it's the 5 of, so in this case C. But there's these great little plunks in the bass here that go like this. The river must be dragged, no time be lost. The body must be found at any cost. To this attend without undue delay. And then this pickup is tough to catch for everybody. It's like dun dun, and the chorus, or the orchestra and the singer has to come in together. So I think it's that part, that join there always feels a little tough for me. Without undue delay. So how do you make that join easier? Without undue delay, so sad.
I guess lay just has to be in time, doesn't it?
Yeah.
lay, so set. No, this double. Sorry, it's double. It's half that.
Put it in 2.
Lay, so set to yeah.
But it works. What a hit. Where do you put that?
I mean, I'm probably going to give it a C because it's just quite short. But what do you think? Do you think it earns a B for that? What do you think?
I think that's in keeping with must we till then in prison cell be thrust. So C.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Suppliant at thy feet I fall, thine heart will yield to pity's call. Mine is a heart of massive rock, unmoved by sentimental shock. Thy husband he. There's something about that change on yield that is just, it makes me want to cry.
So let's see
this,
which one.
what is it?
G minor, then.
Because it's not ostensibly sad. It's like comedic and tragic at the same time. There's something like wrenching about it. It's as if she understands that it's a prank, that there's so much in that chord change for me. I absolutely love that. And people should make a lot of that moment. So it is short, but honestly, I'd give this like a B. I love this. What do you think?
Sure, I think it's I think we've given brevity the C slot a few times, so probably C. But
Do you think so? Yeah.
yeah, but and then Fairfax's moment. Mine is a heart of massive rock.
Oh.
So really, the crux of what's happening here is just these two chords that go back and forth, and everything from here through to the end.
It is pretty simple musically, but I just love that one chord change. That's why I included it. But yeah, it's included. Why not? We're now moving on to the Gundolungers. I should sing this one well because Will has actually MD'd me singing this. So let's see if I can remember this. Because the rhythms were not what I thought this was. This surprised me. But bless my heart, consider my position. I am the wife of one, that's very clear. But who can tell, except my intuition, which is the prince and which the gondolier?
Some mate to fate without unseemly wrangle. Such complications frequently occur. Life is one closely complicated tangle. Death is the only true unraveler.
Try we lifelong. There's so many moments in here that can be used as actors. My favourite is death. Because that chord change, because it's been so and then suddenly it's just one note. And there's a stillness there that actually represents the word that is being said, which is death. This is why Sullivan is very clever. But this, it's been so frantic up until that point, but it's like, on that note, both the music and Donnell are just saying, give in. And that's what the whole net song is about. I love that so much.
It's incredible to have a recitative that's allegro con brio with the entire orchestra playing.
Yeah.
This is a little unusual. This is a completely accompanied recit in the most grand opera way. And then each of these little licks are very simple in terms of their structure. They're just... But the fact is he doesn't do it the same way each time, so you never expect it to be the same. First time is C. Then the second time, if we've gone here, is A minor, so relative minor. Then to F, but it's not complete. Then finally, from major, E. doesn't end on the chord it started on. Then does the same again. We get 4 of them that time, and then then 2. Different sort of change there. So it's every one of those is a little different. I enjoyed this one probably the most as a conductor out of any of these.
I absolutely love how frantic this is, and then how it resolves into something like really calm and philosophical. This song is philosophy. It's nothing to do with any of the characters, really. And that is the only downside to this, because I feel like the characters have, for me, have not earned the emotional stakes. That's just my general feeling about the Gondoliers, and I'm sorry. But I think this one still might be S tier. I don't know what you think.
No, this is S tier.
Yeah. I struggle with Casilda. With, like, even as a person who's played her, I still found it quite difficult to really be a person who people were genuinely rooting for, because you just get so little time. So has she really earned this feeling? I guess that's up to the actor, but it is hard. It is a hard thing. That's weird. We did this out of order.
That's okay.
Because the next one is actually in the opening. They come to make their choice. Let us acclaim them with united voice. That's it, isn't it? Oh, that's so short. Maybe I shouldn't have included that. Do you think that's what?
Well, let's make it an F.
Let's stick it in, yeah.
F for C meta.
F for A meta. It's just nothing, but it's a bit. You know, for some reason I thought it was longer in my head, but that is, yeah. I have good memories of this one. This is one of my first ever roles in the Gilbert and Sullivan Festival. But that CC, it's hard for that not to be shrill. And I'd say that, you know, I'm not an opera singer. I try my best, but I still find that CC really hard. Even though I'm an accomplished singer, I find that CC, it's not particularly pleasant. And it's being sung by a chorus principal. And they're never really given enough rehearsal time. So, you know, it's not my favourite moment, but it's on the list. There we go. It's just there. There's 2 more from the opening. These handkerchiefs are upon our eyes. And now to choose our brides.
As all are young and fair and amiable besides, we really do not care our preference to declare.
Our bias to disclose would be indelicate.
And therefore we propose to let impartial fate select for us a mate.
Our bias to disclose would be indelicate. But how do they propose to let impartial fate
select for them a mate? These handkerchiefs upon our eyes, be good enough to bind.
And take good care that both of us are absolutely blind.
Then turn us round and we, with all convenient dispatch, will undertake to marry any 2 of you we catch.
Behold, they undertake to marry any 2 of us they catch. Yeah. Okay. That's cute. And there's lots of stuff going on. It's really jolly. It's narrative. It's not particularly emotional, but you know, I think there's a lot of really nice stuff in here. What do you think?
Oh, it's a delight. It's Giuseppe and Marco have a relentless parade of characterization building material since they entered.
Yeah.
And
they're awesome.
They're the best.
I mean, to me, I don't think it's like lacking that A magic. Or would you think you would give it an A?
No.
Would you give it a B?
I'm going to see what else is a B.
Hush, hush, not a word. My lord, it will be.
Yeah, I'd put it there.
Yeah. And then the last one from the opening is I've at length achieved a capture.
Sure.
I have at length achieved a capture. This is Tessa.
There we go.
Rapture, rapture.
the fate has granted. Just the very girl I wanted. The very girl he wanted.
If you'd rather change,
My goodness, this indeed is simple rudeness. I've no preference whatever. Listen to him. Well, I never. Oh my god, that's just so happy. I really like that one. I like that one a lot. To me, Janet, the fate has granted. Oh. I mean, just singing this just reminds me of David Benezes. I get like a lovely little because that was just, he was so sweet doing that. This is just wholesome sweetness, but oh my god, that if you'd rather change, that has to be sarcastic. Come on, that can't be genuine.
They're making a joke, yeah.
Yeah, it's totally a joke, but it's so cute. Is this an A?
It's an A.
I love this one. There's so much going on. Even though, like, you know, I've said until the cows come home that I don't really think the characters in the gondoliers are like really defined, but this is as defined as they're going to get. Like, there's a lot of chance here for an actor to put their own stamp on it. So I appreciate this as a moment enough to give this an A, and it's certainly very nice musically. Then, last but not least from the gondoliers, is one that I may have to actually look up in my tablets. The royal prince was by the king entrusted to my fond care, ere I grew old and crusted. When traitors came to steal his son reputed, my own small boy I deftly substituted. The villains fell into the trap completely. I hid the prince away, still sleeping sweetly. I called him son with pardonable slyness. His name, Louis. Behold his royal highness. Louis.
Casilda.
Is that where it is?
I guess.
Casilda. By the way, did you like that video where I did all the Casildas together? Casilda, 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 Casilda.
Was that the gondoliers dialogue?
There was a video where no, it was one we did together, but I edited that bit in. Have you not seen it?
Which video was it?
I think it was like
I don't watch the one.
it must have been baritone roles.
I don't watch the ones.
Oh my
I'm
god!
in.
I need to show that to you. I'm going to show that to you right now. Hold on.
No, it's okay. You can show me later.
Okay, I'll show it to you later.
Yeah.
But it was funny. Anyway, no, you'll lose it when I show that to you.
Okay.
Okay. So anyway, how do we like them apples?
This is the best.
It's so good, isn't it?
This and it's so important. I think that
It's narrative. It's emotional.
I would say it's bottom S tier because
Yeah.
it ain't so quite so good as it may not be for So the Face to Side, but it's
definitely S tier in terms of how much it does as a recit. Like this is one of the good ones. And we're moving on to Utopia Limited. My subjects all, it is your wish emphatic.
My subject all, it is your wish emphatic, that all Utopia shall henceforth be modelled upon that glorious country called Great Britain. Who wits are mad, but others do not. Ireland.
It is!
That being so, as you insist upon it, we have arranged that our two younger daughters, who have been finished by an English lady, a grave and good and gracious English lady, shall daily be exhibited in public, that all may learn what from the English standpoint is looked upon as maidenly perfection. Come hither, daughters.
I actually learned that on the violin. Maybe I should have cracked my violin out. Oh, there's no time. You could just do it in my voice. But is this actually brilliant?
Yes.
Is it crazy? Am I bananas to think that when the king does his aside, a grave and good and gracious English lady, is that one of the best musical moments in the canon? Am I insane?
But it's very simple, and in terms of the way in which
But it's just
he's
so
come out of this, he's just come out of this, and then this, and then he reveals himself.
I know.
That
Because the thing is, like,
and
people like Lady Jane will tell the audience what they're feeling, but in this, it's not the character who's telling the audience; it's the music that's telling the audience.
How about this one? B's are flat.
Come here.
Like he's not just trying to get from one key to another. These
Yeah.
are like those sorcerer moments.
But this, I think, is absolutely sublime. There's something about this that really gives me chills.
It's also very dramatic
And
and clear.
It's really dramatically clear. There's a lot of exposition there, but it's also kind of emotionally very like bearing. Like he's very bare and vulnerable in it. And it's so simple, but just like there's something very sinister about it, in which we're seeing the first crack of utopia here.
That little brief moment of that.
This is so good.
I like it. I like this a lot.
This is so good.
It's one of these things where I feel like
this is great.
the emotional nuance of Utopia Limited is often overlooked.
Yeah, like really, it's like, ooh, it's like we're not just being like, oh, we're just liking Utopia Limited because no one else does. It's like genuinely, like, listen to it. It's so good. This morning we proposed to illustrate. Oh, I'm going to sing this one.
So hold on. I accidentally put a bass note in. We all know that famously Gervais Hughes made fun of the pedal point in this number, as Ian Bradley mentions in his footnotes.
No, it's this one. This is earlier, isn't it? This morning we proposed to illustrate because I didn't bother with the last one.
It isn't even the right one.
I didn't even bother with that one because it was just so tiny.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You're right.
Yeah.
Okay, so instead of that, what you just heard is going to be this.
This morning we propose to illustrate a course of maiden courtship from the start to the triumphant matrimonial finish. Both a stranger, perfect stranger, these two well-behaved younglings. He's attractive, young and active, each a little bit of ladies. Most advanced. Oh my god.
I love music.
I mean, obviously this isn't quite as good as the last one because it's just not as long, but it's still really great. I still give this a solid B. Like it's so.
Let's which is again the transition out of the previous thing.
Yeah.
Your ladies ought to be. Then just right into. Then to that.
It's so modern.
Sometimes the best thing to do with these
Yeah.
recits is just play through the chord changes really quickly.
Where do you want to put this one? B or A?
B.
B. You know what? Should we just do the last one even though it's really short? Let's just do it anyway.
The one that we just had.
Yeah. The lecture's ended in 10 minutes space. 'Twill be repeated in the marketplace. Quaff nectar. Oh. Yeah, Yeah.
That
I mean, I'm not going to give it a high grade because it's so short, but I mean, it's still really great.
This
isn't
with the
it?
full orchestration is really something special.
Oh.
This reduction to the strings that releases to the whole orchestra going, Bwah! Right? It's really
But
cool.
how about the first note of it? Like, da-da-da-da-da-bum, the lecture's ended. Like, just the transition into it.
That's really
I love that.
Yeah, your vocal score actually doesn't represent that the way
Oh,
it
it's
is
not.
in orchestra. Yeah. That's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, I love that transition into it as well. Yeah, so I probably only give this a maybe even a C actually, because it is really good even though it's short. What do you think? D? C?
C.
C.
Yeah.
So I'm already going to tell you that I am absolutely in love with this one, and I'll be very surprised if you don't also think it is S tier.
Rachel, your score has 4 pages that are falling out.
I know.
That's okay.
Well, at first sight, it strikes us as dishonest. But if it's good enough for virtuous England, the first commercial country in the world, it's good enough for us.
You best beware, please recollect, we have not been consulted.
And do I understand you that Great Britain, upon this joint stock principle is governed?
We haven't come to that exactly, but we're heading rapidly in that direction. The date's not distant.
We will be before you in your town to posterity, renowned as the first sovereign in Christendom, who'll register his crown and the country under the Joint Stock Companies Act of '62.
When did the trumpets come in that
Just
last
as you
bit?
did it.
Oh really? Or did I do it right?
You're exactly right.
This to me is like the very kind of, this is the moment where Utopia gives way and like signs its own kind of cultural death warrant.
I like that.
And it's like, it's really, it's moving and funny, and there's so much going on with characters. You best take care, please recollect, we have not been consulted. It's so good. This is one of the ones that I am absolutely obsessed with.
It's good.
I love it.
It's really very good. At first sight, it strikes us as dishonest. It's
But if it's good enough for virtuous England,
Imagine being in the audience of this show. If there's an opening night, I want to go to it's this one. Man.
so good. We are on to this ceremonial, our wish displays.
This ceremonial our wish displays to copy all Great Britain's courtly ways. The lofty aims catastrophe entail will gloriously succeed or nobly fail.
Great. I mean, yeah, it's good. It's the intro to a song which is better than it. So to me, it can't really get more than a B. It's maybe only even a C. But what do you think about it? Do you think this is really good musically?
It's exactly what it needs to be.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
and everyone knows. Easier to have start, but
It is like God Save Our Queen. I've never noticed that. How have I never noticed that?
those first 4 measures are just, but stretched out. So Sullivan gets a little bit of a bonus point for the mashup, I think.
Yeah. Where do you think this goes?
B.
Yeah. So we are on to the very last opera. So this one is Yes, Ludwig and his Julia are mated.
So I'll tell y'all, this is the part of the role I think singing is the hardest. And also, I'm so tired. So Rachel, hold the score open because it's this big beefy boy. Did you all do?
Should we swivel this round?
No, it's great.
Is that good?
I'll sing it down an octave.
Okay.
That'll be nice for me.
Yes, Ludwig and his Julia mated. For when an obscure comedian whom the law backs to sovereign rank is promptly elevated. He takes it with its incidental drawbacks. So Julia and I are duly mated.
Interesting this, because
It's so beautiful.
without any way to know, we don't know what the tempo of this should be. There's no tempo marking. It just says recit. So you sort of have to follow the emotional reading of the text to know where it should live.
There's something about these three chords here, comedian whom the law backs. There's something about that which makes me want to cry. What is that? There's something about that.
So
The singer combined with
it's actually we just had the same transition in
comedian whom the law
in the previous one.
Yeah.
When he said, "For all utopia shall henceforth be modeled," it's the same kind of transition. It's where you just kind of he's using common tones to do these key changes like before, but they're getting a little more unusual, almost a little more dark. I think the fact that the bass is so deep in it.
This is gorgeous. Is this an A?
Sure.
I love this. I mean, I don't think it's quite special enough to be S, but I do love this one. Absolutely love it. Oh, that's so good. It's really good into the next one as well. Now, last but not least, or maybe it is least, who knows? His Highness We Know Not. Which, bizarrely, we did do in the Grosvenor Light Opera Company show. Even though a lot of people cut this one.
I mean, you got to keep it, because otherwise how do people know whether or not Ludwig knows his highness?
Yeah.
So, or whether or not he knows the locality in which essentially his principality.
That is also true.
His Highness we know not, nor the locality in which is situate his principality. But as he guesses by some odd fatality, this is the shop for cut and dried formality. Let him appear, he'll find that we're remarkable for cut and dried formality. I have a plan. I'll tell you all the plot of it. He wants formality, he'll have a lot of it. He'll have a whole bunch. Consider yourselves, and when I give a cue, swing out. Y'all know what to do. Come on.
Come on.
Hey, don't close it. I want to
Sorry.
read this music.
Okay, I know this is a bit of a sad note to be ending on, but I really don't like this number because it seems to me like both an afterthought musically and lyrically. It's that repeat of formality. This is the shop for cut and dried formality. Let him appear. He'll find her remarkable for cut and dried formality. It's really weird to me that he repeats that, and I don't think he's earned that. And I think that the audience often lose the track of this one because it's not really clear what they're saying because it's not succinct enough.
It's not clear what they're saying, and then what they do is they do a funny dance, and then that's the big plan. So you do kind of have to throw caution to the wind just a little bit with this last home stretch of the Grand Duke. I like the anxiety in it in a weird way. There's a certain the guy. I also like where we just came from. It's a complete non sequitur key change. These are kind of fun.
Because I find him annoying because I want to hear what he's saying, and he keeps stopping singing. Like, what can you tell us?
So maybe we should put the singing on top of them. His Highness we know not, nor the locality in which is situated. How about that? Is that good? Do you like it?
It's just so stop and start to me. I don't get the thread of it. I don't find it musically interesting. I don't really follow the narrative thread of it. I guess I see why it's in there, but to me this is like definitely an E, maybe even an F.
Well,
What do you think?
let's give it.
What would you give it?
I'd give it. I'd give it. What's above an S? I'd give it an E. Let's give it an E.
Okay, so now we get to put the whole lot in order.
In F tier, the best ranked F tier.
Is CC. At last they come to make their choice. So we're going to mark that as a little 1.
Okay.
Okay, but 1 is the best, right?
Yeah.
So then, let me just lower this. So what are we thinking that the worst one is out of those? I think it's His Highness We Know Not. To me, that's the worst.
No, His Question Gentleman is one of liquor.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Okay, but then His Highness We Know Not.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that, like, these two are bad. They're just a bit of like, nothing.
So how about then Frederick?
Yeah, I agree. Like that.
And then, Tempt Me Not is a little more involved.
Yeah.
Great.
And I think Forbear Not Carry Out the Scheme You Plan is probably better than No I'll Be Brave. Do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is 1 and 2. Right, okay, here we go. Where is the plaintiff? Sir, you are sad. My well-loved lord and guardian, dear, must be till then in prison with the first. The river must be dried, subject to the day 4. I mean, do any of these kind of like scream to you as being better than the others? For
The
me,
only one.
it's Sir, you are sad.
It's better than the others.
Yeah, because that has some substance, whereas the others are just like, they don't really have much substance. What do you think?
The yeoman one? The suppliant? Is that rather this one?
Oh, that's cute. Yeah, it's quite short, but it's cute. Would you think that's number 1 of all these?
Seriously, I think there's you remember Joanna wanting quartet writing?
I
think wanting recit writing is fair.
That's so true.
So Sir, You Are Sad is like the recit
So that's 1.
one. And then I would say the yeoman one.
Yeah, this one.
And then I would say Must Be
How
Till
about
Then in
this?
Prison Till Be Thrust.
Yeah.
And then,
The other yeoman one?
yeah.
And then maybe it's The Lecture's Ended. Or do you think My Well-Loved Lord and Guardian Dear is a bit better than that one?
I think Lecture's End is probably going to be our 7.
Okay, so is My Well-Loved Lord, whereas the plaintiff? Or do you like that better?
Yeah, My Well of Lord is a little more interesting.
I
5,
think
and
so
then 6,
too.
and then 7.
And then,
It's 10,
Okay.
It's 10 of this one.
so, let's just have a look. And do any of these like jump out to you as being better than the others?
What do you think, children? Do you think any of these jump out to you as being better than the others?
I mean, and Have I Journeyed for a Month or Nearly and Come Cyril are probably my 2 favourites.
I would like the Mikado one to be first.
Me too.
And
That one's cute and funny. But Tell Me Who's the Youth, that's actually really nice.
we really like that.
Yeah. This morning proposed to illustrate, that's nice too. But I'm thinking the ones that have real emotional substance in, and that's a good one. That's funny. That's good. Like Given. Yes,
Okay.
Given. That's good.
Put that second.
My Laws That Made Up Baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
And
good.
then put Tell Me Who's the Youth third.
Yeah. And
then
Come
put Come
Cyril.
Cyril fourth.
Yeah. This is just beautiful music, this
And
one.
then put...
These handkerchiefs are on... Oh, well, actually, this started with... Didn't this start with another bit?
Now we would choose our
Now
bride.
choose our prize. That's
Yeah.
good. Let's should we put that one after that?
Yeah.
So that's a 5. 6 ceremonial. Maybe hush hush not a word.
Hush 6.
Yeah. Then I'd probably say this ceremonial.
Over at Morning Propose.
I think this is a bit more interesting with
Yeah.
that God Save the Queen
Sure.
section in it. So that's 7, and then 8,
Yeah.
and then Hold Monsters is 9.
Yeah. And then Hark Possessor is 10.
Yeah. I've forgotten about that one, but yeah, that does 10. Right, okay, here we go. So there are now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There are 10 again here. Oh gosh. There are so many good things in this. Still Brooding, I absolutely love. Gentlemen, I Pray You Tell Me.
So all of these are better than what we just did.
yeah.
So even giving something 10th is fine.
Yeah.
Put I've at length achieved a capture somewhere low, but is it a month you've got to die somewhere low on
Yeah.
in this category? Do you know what?
Mm-hmm.
I think Is This Square of the Exchequer might be lower because
Compared to some others, yeah.
emotionally.
But like these two, Prepare for Sad Surprises and Still Brooding, and Gentlemen, I Pray You Tell Me, are probably my 3 favourites from this category. Still Brooding is so good.
All right, put that first.
Yeah, I think that one does deserve to be first. And these Prepare for Sad Surprises, Gentlemen, I Pray You Tell Me. Do you agree those are kind of maybe 2 and 3?
Yeah.
Constance, my daughter, is also really good. And it's close. Yeah. Which one do you think comes second out of those?
Ruddycore.
Oh yeah! Of course. Yeah, do you think that goes second?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it does. I forgot about that one. Because that, yeah, especially if we're including the dead and Herset or the cursed. So that's 2. Yes, yeah, that's probably on the lower side, even though it's really good.
I would then put Sad Surprises 3.
Mm-hmm.
I put Constance 4.
Yeah.
If you want the Mikado 5, that one.
This one?
Gentleman 5.
Oh, I already gave that number 1. Oh
Yeah.
no, that's an I. Number 5, yeah?
Yeah.
And then 5. Because there's the other Mikado one. But there's also Every Bill and Every Measure.
Put the other Mikado on 10.
Do you think?
Goodbye. Then put
But like Every Bill and Every Measure.
6.
Yeah. And then 7, 8, 9. Is this the court? I've at length achieved a capture, less Ludwig as Julia mated.
The Gondoliers.
I think that's probably better than Yes's Ludwig. This is probably better than that one. Should we give this one 9?
Yeah.
Yeah. But then I think Is This the Court of the Exchequer for me is better than this one.
Yes.
So this is 8 and that one's 7.
Okay. Let's.
Here we go. Right, S
The
tier.
final 8.
9.
Correct. Well, we know what number 1 is.
Number 1 is this one.
Yeah, IOLANTHE. And
Number 2 maybe now for the Pirate's Lair.
now for the Pirates, or Bless My Heart, or
I prefer Pirate's Lair to Bless My Heart. There's more emotion in it.
So 2 Pirates Lair.
Yeah. And then 3 Bless My Heart.
Or Marmadungus. Sir Marmadungus? Sir
I prefer that one personally. Let's have that as number 3.
Yeah, nice.
And then number 4, Bless My Heart, yeah?
Yeah. And then I would like...
I prefer Well at First Sight to My Subjects All, but they're both really good. So I would say let's not be... For me, I would say 5, 6.
Okay.
7.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
5, 6, 7.
Mm-hmm.
8, 9?
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh my god. So that's crazy. Isn't that nuts? So we have now ranked them all. I am going to put a list in the description. But yeah, isn't that crazy? The winner was IOLANTHE. It may not be for Slay the Fates Aside. And second place, now for the Pirate's Lair. One that I'd not even really thought about before we did this one. Like, I thought Stop Ladies Pray was going to be like the winner. But actually there are several. There are 6 that I think we consider to be better than it. And at the bottom, CC, at last they come to make their choice. But you know, there are loads we didn't include because they were worse. So it's not really a loser. Yeah. So yeah, I guess that brevity was a big factor in having them quite short, in them being at the bottom. But as you can see, there's some cracking stuff in recits, and I have learned a lot today making this video.
I like there to be recits in the operas instead of dialogue. And I like there to be recits to connect numbers. So the through composed stuff is always really great.
So yeah, that's been us. And that's been Recitatives. And I hope that when you are next learning a GNS opera, and maybe you have some recitative, you maybe look at it in a slightly different way now as a result of this video. So if you like this, please like the video, subscribe to this channel, and we will see you
Forever.